Netflix original films seem to be a dime a dozen, but throughout that endless loop of scrolling, you'll stumble upon something that truly grabs your attention, takes you on a ride, and honestly freaks you the f out. And that's where the perfection comes into play. Like, what the heck is going on in this film? And what the heck does that ending mean? Well, don't worry, because today we are going to break down all of the nonsense and unanswered questions you have and try to explain this film in the easiest way possible. Hello everyone, Jared here, and today we are going to be talking about the musical prodigy horror film that's on Netflix, The Perfection. We're going to be diving into all of the symbolism in this movie, what the true ending is, what the filmmakers were going for, and just everything revolving around those weird bugs. So sit back and relax as we explain this Netflix horror film, The Perfection.
Who let the dogs out?
No. There we go. Ooh. So it is safe to say if you're watching this video, then you've watched The Perfection, or the YouTube algorithm is somehow working in my favor. If not, here's a quick refresher.
The Perfection opens on a young woman and her mother whom has just passed away. This young woman is revealed to be Charlotte Wilmore, a former young cello prodigy studying at the Backhoff Academy who had to leave a decade earlier to tend to her sick mother. Okay, enough of the backstory as this 90-minute movie kicks off with Chapter 1. Charlotte makes her way to Shanghai to meet up with her old instructors from the academy, only to see a giant billboard showcasing Elizabeth Wells, aka the girl whom quote-unquote replaced Charlotte at the academy, played by Logan Browning, who is
oh hot. Want to touch the hiney?
Later that night, Charlotte attends the Shanghai Opera House, reuniting with her old teachers and meeting Lizzie, the new cello prodigy. The night progresses as they co-judge the cello contest. Lizzie nonchalantly tells Charlotte she is dripping wet, because nothing gets you moist like watching a man get an over-the-pants handjob in public. The two witness a man getting very sick and discovering the threat of an airborne outbreak in the South right before they play a lovely duet together. Lizzie is caught in Charlotte's web.
I understood that reference.
Which sets up the two getting it on later that night. Grab your construction paper because we're about to scissor. If you don't get that reference, here is Shaggy to spell it out for you. Lizzie asks Charlotte to come traveling out west with her tomorrow, only for Charlotte to realize Lizzie has the same music note tattoo that she does. What does it mean? Time to travel, but first, Lizzie has a massive hangover, so Charlotte offers some ibuprofen and a little hair of the dog before they embark, dog pun, on their travels. First, of course, stopping at a wet market, which seems very ill-advised in this now 2020 timeline, to grab some food to help with the hangover. Lizzie orders googly gop that I wouldn't think would help the hangover at all, and then it's time for the bus adventures. Upon boarding the bus, Charlotte claims to swat a giant bug from Lizzie's backpack. Lizzie's pain isn't getting any better, so she takes even more ibuprofen, like an unrecommended amount of ibuprofen, almost shitting herself on the bus, then throwing up on the bus, and Charlotte discovering there are bugs in her puke. What the f is going on here? They are quickly tossed off the bus, with Lizzie still freaking out. She discovers bugs crawling under her skin, throwing up even more spiders. I don't like where any of this is going at all. And then roaches burst out of her arm. Seriously, what is happening here? Charlotte says that there's only one thing to do and pulls out a giant cleaver. Lizzie pulls a 127 hours and joins the ranks of every Star Wars movie, chopping off her own hand. But now we're jumping into the DeLorean because we're going back in time. As we get back to the morning, we see how things play out from Charlotte's point of view. The pills Charlotte slipped Lizzie weren't ibuprofen, but rather medicine from her dying mother that were said to cause nausea, hallucinations, itching, and diarrhea.
Yay, that's abysmal!
Charlotte also stole the cleaver from the restaurant. There was never a bug on Lizzie's backpack. They had self-service the whole time. Charlotte was researching a makeshift tourniquet, and there were never bugs in the puke or under Lizzie's skin. Charlotte wanted her to cut off her own arm because of jealousy. Chapter 3. 3 weeks later, we're back in Boston as the Chinese student Zhang Li is giving a tour of the Backhoff Academy and is shown a room known as the Chapel, the most acoustically sound room in all of the world. Or so Anton says. Later that night, Lizzie shows up at the gate, revealing that she no longer has a hand, and Charlotte did it in spite of her success. She can no longer play, so therefore she no longer has value to Anton and Paloma and the Backhoff Academy. Quick flash to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Lizzie then kidnaps Charlotte, bringing her back to the Academy to get her revenge for making her Patrick Stump. Charlotte wakes up, revealing that she is trying to save Lizzie from all of the brainwashing. That's right, throw in that National Treasure clip.
The secret lies with Charlotte.
This academy is actually a sinister institute that punishes their students for missing just one note when playing in the chapel. The punishment is sexual assault from all of the instructors, therefore, quote-unquote, breeding perfection. Charlotte wasn't jealous, but rather trying to stop the pain she had endured all of those years prior. Trying to escape, Charlotte is knocked out and awakens chained to the stage down in the chapel, forced to play the perfection. But this time, if she fails, Zhang Li will be the one to be punished. Of course, Charlotte misses a note, but it's all an act. Zhang Li won't be punished because Anton and the Academy are not sick individuals. I mean, come on, they aren't monsters. They just want perfection, which now brings upon Charlotte's punishment for bringing disgrace to the Academy and the chapel.
Okay, now that we're all caught up on the perfection, let's get into the last 15 minutes of this film where some crazy things go down and some unexpected twists and turns reveal themselves. Alright, so Charlotte has just failed to perform the perfection, and Jeffrey, Theos, and Lizzie are about to have their way with her, followed by Anton after she's done biting. As they prepare Charlotte, Lizzie says she wants to be the first go on her, but not using her fingers, rather using her stump. Lizzie is going to make Charlotte into a human Muppet. I can't look. Even worse, she's going to push pop her.
What's a push pop?
I don't know.
What's a push pop?
It's a whole hand up an ass, David.
All of a sudden, Tobias and the other pedophile dude that I already forgot his name pass out from their alcoholic drinks. It was all a play as Lizzie kisses Charlotte and we get another Back to the Future rewind. This flashback shows how Charlotte revealed that she had to save Lizzie, that she was in the same position a decade earlier. She had been brainwashed and that the Backoff Academy and their sinister practices needed to stop. So the two team up to get their revenge. Begin Chapter 4. This is a quick turnaround as Paloma stumbles in to let Anton know it's his turn for the sex train in the chapel, but collapses to the floor, revealing that she had been stabbed. The classical music scratches over to play It's On by Douche Mob. I'm sorry, it's Deuce Mob. Playing Deuce Mob and revealing Lizzie and Charlotte have killed everyone, leaving Anton for last. Charlotte then takes off her wig in a shocking Charlie's Angels reveal, revealing she is still Charlotte? I guess it didn't have much of an impact that they were going for. Anyways, they are going to quote-unquote cut off his balls and sell them for trinkets, which would make for one ugly pair of earrings. The two attack Anton, but there is quite a struggle. As Charlotte is dazed, she flashes back to wanting to escape as a child, but this is her time to finally escape. Coming back to, she struggles for the knife, only for Anton to then jab it into her forearm and rip that some beach to shreds. Oh jeez. Her arm, he filleted it like a fish. Lizzie then knocks out Anton and they are free. The final scene takes us back down to the chapel as we get a back shot of someone sitting in a chair hooked up to what appears to be a dialysis life support machine. Lizzie and Charlotte approach the stage, now revealing that Charlotte only has one arm as well. The camera swings over to a blurred image of whomever is sitting in the chair, slowly revealing it is Anton. The two have dismembered his limbs, sewn his eyes and mouth shut. He is stuck there listening to the two come together like some sort of Captain Planet summoning. You know that cartoon that was supposed to provide awareness to pollution and global warming and other environmental cautions, where like each of the kids had their own rings and elements and summoned some other like Earth superhero dude, you know, Captain Planet, you know, earlier in the 90s? Sorry about that, I got way off topic. They play the quote-unquote perfection together, forcing Anton to listen through the final note, finally playing the perfection. As the two finish, they mean mug the screen like a damn you just got served dance competition. The end. So that is the end of The Perfection. Some rich, snooty, classical music-loving people have this sinister academy, and then 2 former students come back to get their revenge, essentially shutting it down. But what does it all mean? What was kind of the main themes and messages that the filmmakers were going for? It can't be that straightforward, can it? Well, let's break down some of the theories that we here at JBuck Studios have come across. Theory number 1 can tie in with the instructors, the students, the horrific acts that they endured, striving for perfection, and the Back-Off Academy from the day of its inception. This cycle of student attempting the perfection and punishment is present throughout the film, even stating that Anton and the others had to endure it as well. So it has been a cycle throughout the time of Back-Off, or rather a tradition you could say, repeating over and over again to reach the perfection, which can be symbolized by the many visuals of circles throughout the film, a shape that has been said to be perfect. Sorry, squares and triangles, but also one that continues on forever, much like tradition or cycle of the perfection. But enough of the geometry lessons. The belief of pain and sacrifice to achieve perfection is very much present here. Obviously, here in the film, they take it to the utmost extremes, where one wrong note leads to a horrific act. But if we look closer at Lizzie and Charlotte and how this can be translated into the real world for people becoming the best of the best in their respective fields, it takes sacrifice. Whether it be time, money, friends, family, experiences, things must be given up to achieve greatness. For example, Lizzie mentioned she hadn't been on vacation in years, and Charlotte had never had a sexual experience, along with her complete mental breakdown and self-harm. So in this messed up and roundabout way, the perfection is applying real-world practices, obviously taken to the extremes again, to show us what a person has to give up to be the best of the best of the best.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the
Now, Theory 2 seems to be fairly easy once we nail it down, especially after everything that has happened in the hashtag #MeToo movement. The perfection features a prestigious school, but has a sinister activities happening inside. These young girls are being sexually abused and brainwashed, while the outside world has no clue of what is happening on the inside, or even worse, they don't believe the former students after leaving, blaming it on them being either upset or jealous that they had to be let go from the Back-Off Academy. But as the story in The Perfection goes, 2 former students rise up and take things into their own hands. Or, I mean hand, because, you know, both of them had their arms chopped off. They get the revenge they deserve after all of the pain they had to endure, and also stopping the Back-Off Academy from treating young girls the same way that they had. It's fairly straightforward when we look at it this way, but there is another huge hint that this is what the filmmakers were leaning towards. This whole storyline can be applied to Hollywood, or rather production companies and high-up executives, rather than the Back-Off Academy and its instructors. Of course, The Perfection was distributed by Netflix, but one of the production companies just so happens to be Miramax. And if you are aware of who owns what studios in the Hollywood system, Miramax was founded by none other than Harvey Weinstein. That's right, the filmmakers knew of the shady dealings, the true Hollywood story, the history of abuse, and made a film exposing those ugly truths. The third and final theory is actually one that carries the most weight when you start diving into the history of the Back-Off Academy and the music Charlotte and Lizzie play. They play several classical pieces from Bach, Mozart, the Baha Men, and Handel, which is what the school is built on, playing the cello to the greatest ability to reach the perfection. But if we look at the outside world and how music has evolved over the years, this is actually a cautionary tale of the end, or rather death, of classical music. Anton and the others at the Academy have had a tradition of keeping this classical music very much alive, but Charlotte and Lizzie are the embodiment of the outside musical preference revolution, brought about and showcased in such films like School of Rock.
And it's the exact same thing, but instead of playing like this, you tip it on the side, cello, you've got a bass.
But more clearly here, when the music scratches over from classical piano to It's On by Deuce Mob, symbolizing the final and eventual death of classical music. Or it's just another Netflix horror film that features a messed up schooling system where two women are abused, decided to stand up and get their revenge against these snooty rich people, while also showcasing some of the most disturbing visuals of bugs I've ever seen. I mean, either or. So that is it, the Netflix film The Perfection, broken down into all of the different theories that the ending really has in store for viewers. Which theory and which ending did you really grab onto the most and really think carried the most evidence? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there, you know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. Many more of these ending explained poorly videos coming to the channel. Let me know if there's a video out there or a movie that you want me to do one of these videos on. I'm more than open for suggestions. Follow all of my social media down there, like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.